everybody. I am Angelique Kidjo, and you are listening to Boom Play. Stay with us, dance with us. Stay with us, dance with us now. Dignity can save you or kill you. Dignity, I wanna hold on to you.
For over 3 decades, you have greatly contributed to the growth of African music. So can you tell us how the entire journey began for you?
Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I started singing at the age of 6 in my mother's theater group. Okay. And then my brother decided to do music, and my father bought the instrument and free a room in the house.
Okay.
So they can rehearse, and then I start singing with them. Then in high school, we start a music group called the Sphinx. And then I start singing, and I never stopped since then. Okay. And then I recorded my first album in 1981 or 1980. Okay. And then with that album, actually I started touring in West Africa, Togo next door, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and so on and so forth. Then I moved to France in 1983 to go to. I decided to check on if I want to be a singer or I want to be a human rights lawyer.
Okay.
And I realized that, well, music will do. So I registered in the school where I studied 2 years of classical vocal training. Okay. Then 3 years in a jazz school and learning all those jazz standards, the history of jazz. And at the same time as I was going to school, I was playing. I never left the stage, actually. Wow. I joined the band that my brother as a drummer was playing with the band here. And he cast me in. And I said, I want to learn what it is to be a backing singer. So that was my first thing that I did, to sing behind somebody and to see how it feels. How do you organize the voice? What is going on behind a leader on stage? And it was really an humbling experience. And you realize that backing vocal, it's not just singing, it's an harmony of voices that speak to each other and create a kind of atmosphere behind you. Okay. And then I met a jazz player called Jasper Van Toff, and then we started touring, doing the recording for 4 years. And then I did my first album, Paraku, that was produced by the head of my jazz school. Okay. That album had been sent to Chris Blackwell, who is the founder of the record label Island. He's the producer of Bob Marley, Grace Jones, U2, name it. So he came, and when I was signing, because I was just a little bit skeptical, a little bit not really wanted to sign my life away. And he came all the way from Jamaica to ask me, what is the resistance? What did I need? What do I want? I said, I want to sign a contract where I can keep my artistical freedom and my identity. And if that's not the case here, then I'd rather not have any record company. And then he said, well, you produce your music and it's up to us to sell it. So whatever you want. So I got that freedom, and he became my artistical director for all my album, all the way till the album Oremi. And that was a luxury. I didn't know at that time that I was being a very privileged person to have such an iconic producer being my artistical director and give me the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah. And then I continued doing my stuff, and I never stopped. Basically, from the beginning, it was clear for me that my songs, my visual have to be my responsibility. That I did not want to be pigeonholed or be the phantasma of people, what an African woman, a young woman should be or should sound like. So from the beginning, I was adamant to follow my path, to do the music I want to do. And it was not easy, I have to tell you, but I stand my ground.
Okay, so that was a lot. And now,
that's why when you ask, I say, okay, let me start. I gotta go back and tell you all about it.
Oh wow! So it's been over 3 decades now, and you're still here. A lot of
I hope so. Crossing my fingers.
A lot of musicians have risen through the years and we don't hear about them anymore. But guess what? You're still here. So how does that feel for you?
Well, it feel I don't know how it feels. Actually, I really don't ask myself the question of time. When it comes to music, I just follow my inspiration and I do what I felt that I can carry. I never write any album and not being able to stand beside it and behind it and in front of it. Everywhere in the world, anytime I take any song, I can sing it a cappella or I can sing it with guitar. So for me, as long as I can sing
Yeah.
and I'm in good health, I'll be singing.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. We still want you here. Okay. In recent times, I wouldn't really say in recent times, you have attributed a better part of your life to activism, to campaigns against rape, against female genital mutilation, and all of that. How did that start for you? Was it like, did it start from a personal experience or from experiences of women around the world?
I mean, it started home basically with my dad standing up for any traditional thing, traditional ceremony that can harm us. My father said, "No one gonna hurt my kids because that's my duty as a father to protect my kids." And I don't believe in any tradition. I don't believe in any religion stuff that gonna harm physically my kids or psychologically. I'm not gonna give the right to anyone to decide the fate and the future of my children. So that's the figure father that I have. He was a really feminist person, saying all the time that talent has no gender, that we have to stand for what we want to see, and we have to be the change we want to see. So for me, it has been an an existence and an experience of life where I have been empowered and free to think and to do things and always stand beside my mistakes as much as my success. And going to school and start realizing what it meant to be a child bride. Because once I finished primary school, suddenly some of the friends that I said goodbye to, that I was hoping to see in secondary school, they were not, most of them were not there. And when you walk in the street and you see them with a baby on the back, you go, what is, and then the sense of shame that they carry with them is something that really strike me. And I'll go to my father and say, well, my so and so is not coming to school anymore. Why? What can we do? And then my father said, I can't just go home in their home and tell them what they have to do. And it's something that's really it's really hurtful that we still have this kind of tradition where men decided just bluntly to stop your life because they want to have a child being their bride. And that shouldn't be. It's not a tradition we should be proud of. A young girl, a child of 12 years old, it, her body's not ready to bear kids. So all those things that I found absolutely humiliating for us all is something that we should change. Is we are the one that can change all those things, nobody else.
Nobody else. Okay, let's go back to music now. In recent times, musicians, especially African musicians, have been receiving a lot of attention from the global music industry. And looking at how you started, you also, I would say you're one of the musicians who championed the cause of moving African music, to the global market or to the global scene. So how does this feel for you? Because all your Grammy awards, all your recognition, you always attribute it to being an African. So what does this mean for you?
Well, it's been that our time has come. I mean, I've been saying this over and over again. I mean, when I started this career in the 90s, there are some interviews I still remember that are really painful to remember because that sense of us being not worth anything is still there. And people are still skeptical about where this music is going today because people are so comfortable in their belief that nothing good can come out of Africa, that we have no purpose of future, I mean, I heard people say that to me on television. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're telling me that African people are not gonna go nowhere because they have no perspective of future. Who the hell are you? And I get to fight with people. I said, you know, Africa is a continent. It's not a country. You gonna open your filthy mouth and tell me that the whole continent don't have a perspective of future? Who gave you that right? So the thing is, those are the things that really get me to do what I do and the way I do it. When I come out, anything that I release is never for me. It's always about how do I pave the way for the next generation. And all the time, people ask me, why are you so confident? Why are you so proud of? I'm like, because I have a whole continent on my back. Are you crazy? I'm holding the whole continent, looking at me because I represent people that you don't know, that you look at with contempt. I look at my people with deep respect, and I owe them everything that I am. So it is where I stand. And today, this new generation of artists that are coming out, I don't have to say anything anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit back and go, hey, you're gonna eat this up.
She said what she said. She said what she said. Okay. So you are about to release another album, Mother Nature. And thank God there are some artists, you know, you're working on, especially Nigerian artists, and I'm pretty excited about it. So what went into this album? When is it going to be released? Just give us the entire tea.
Well, the album gonna be released June 18th. And for me to do this album is this album have been brewing in me for the last 5-6 years, looking at what it's gonna cost us in Africa, the climate change. It's gonna cost us lives and business and a lot. So I decided to write a love letter, and of course, coming from a oral tradition of transmission, the best way to do that is to bring in the next generation, for them to have their say on this love letter that we started now, to let the world know that we all are acknowledging the challenges everybody is facing regarding climate change, but also the issue of equality, gender equality, respect of rights, the beauty of our continent, dignity, police brutality. All of those things are in this album, where I started the album with a song called Choose Love. And I finished, the last words that I sang on my album is life is beautiful. Because no matter what it is out there, we still have to live. So it was my profound honor and joy, thanks to the COVID, if there's something positive about the COVID, to be sitting home, not touring around, not running around the world, and having the time to invite Yemi, Mr. Easy, Burna Boy, Shungudzo, Sampa the Great, and the young producers from Africa. Because I always said, talk is cheap, action is expensive. And I've said this so many times, and I want the world to hear it. I want the world to hear our excellency. Because the young kids from Africa now, they're joking and they're playing around with nobody. And they are not ready yet. People are still looking at it like, oh, who is this guy? Who is this? I'm like, on which planet are you living? You don't know who Burna Boy, Mr. Easy? You don't live on planet Earth. What's wrong with you? Because it comes from Africa, it takes time. But I want to make sure that it won't take no more time. It's going to be on their face.
Okay. So what are the changes you want to see in African music?
Well, the change I want to see is to be more professional, in a business sense, not musically. Because writing beautiful song is good. What I've learned as an African artist is that you need to have a team that think in the same direction. People that you can trust, that have their ear outside, that can tell you what is going on, for you to trust and not to repeat yourself. You need to understand that when you say you're going to deliver tomorrow, tomorrow is not the day after. And all those things I learned it here. When I came to France, for example, every time I have a meeting and I arrive on time and they were late, they say, How come you African, you're always on time? African people are always late. I say, that generalization is patronizing me. You say 3 o'clock is 3 o'clock. So I have that kind of standard where everything that I say I'm going to deliver, I deliver on time. And we need all of us to understand that this music that we're playing today, it becomes the the footprint of all music that come from Africa. Because Latin America, Cuba, and all those places, they have one type of music that define them, salsa. We have Afrobeats, and Afrobeats doesn't mean only Nigeria, it means the whole continent. You can, and that's the thing, the melting pot that we are, our music have to represent it. And when it comes, it's just, you don't have anything to say, no explanation needed, it's right there in your face. That's it. That's what I want to see.
Okay, okay. So you collaborated with fantastic African acts like Yemi Alade, Burna Boy, Mr. Easy. What was it like working with them on set, or gathering them, or even trying to talk to them to be on the album? What was it like?
Well, we don't have to talk much. I mean, they are all professionals. So we said, the thing that is really important for me when I do my collaboration, wherever and whoever work with me, is that everybody is free. Because if you want to collaborate with somebody and you telling people, you got to do this, it's not a collaboration anymore. Music needs freedom. You have to trust the craft of the person you're working with to come at the service of this song that you are writing and working together. It's always about being at the service of the music and the song. And it has been, for me, very, very pleasant. I mean, we have a discussion, we do it, we talk on the phone, we do it, the music come, I sing it. I mean, it's just like, because I have time, that's what I was saying, COVID-19 is here, I have time, plenty of time.
Yes, everybody has time.
Yeah, I have the studio home, you send me the stuff, and I can walk in my PJs and come to my studio, don't have to put makeup on, boom, I'm out, I can sing till 2 o'clock in the morning, nobody's bothering me. I mean, that's COVID. COVID make this album so smooth. I can hardly tell you.
All right. So let's talk about your Grammy Awards. If I'm right, you are a 6-time Grammy Award winner. Whenever you record your albums or your songs, do you ever tell yourself, "Oh, okay, this is a Grammy Award material," or it just comes like that?
No. Well, I have 4 Grammy Awards. And my nomination started in 1993. My first nomination of Grammy started in 1993. Actually, it's the video Agolo that was nominated. And I was competing against Pet Shop Boy, Jurassic Park, and the Rolling Stones. And I was like, whoa, I'm up there. Me from Africa, I'm competing with the Rolling Stones. Woohoo! I was happy. And I knew I was not going to win. But the fact that I was nominated already was already a lot. So I've had many nominations before I won the first time in 2007. And for me, I never thought about winning any award. I just do my work from the bottom of my heart. And for me, the best award is the public having fun. Public singing my song all over. I mean, I realized the impact my music have had on the African young generation when I became UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 2002. Okay. And I was in Tanzania, all those different places. And people come, they don't call my name. They start singing my song. Batonga, Agolo, Wombolombo. I'm like, if I become a song's name, then I'm on the right path. That's it. So that's it. For me, that's the Grammy that I cherish the most is that. When you walk somewhere and you see everybody singing your song, ooh, that feeling is humbling. And you say, yes, my people get it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Your last Grammy Award, you took the award and dedicated it to Burna Boy. Why did you?
Well, why did I do that? Well, you know, every time, most of the time, when the Grammy ceremony arrived, I'm mainly the only Black person, African person there. In that category, you know? And when I saw that Burna Boy was in the same category as myself, I said, well, if I lose to Burna Boy, I'll be happy because he deserved it. The album Giants deserved it. And I won. I'm like, well, my boy deserved this Grammy. He's gonna be the next one. I hope so. So I grabbed the Grammy and said, this is dedicated to Burna Boy. Because I've been talking about the like of Burna Boy for so many years at the Grammy, talking about how this category have to change the naming, all of those things. I've been working behind the scene for the Grammys to be more inclusive of all of the music that come from Africa. And let's be true to the Grammy. They are the only music award that opened the door to many genres of music. I mean, the Grammy ceremony start at noon and continue till 10 p.m. And the music, you have all the music from everywhere that is pretty much there. So I think that it was the right thing to do because Burna Boy deserved it, period.
Okay. At the level that African music is right now, do you think musicians should still crave the validation of international awarding bodies like Grammys? Do you think they should still get that validation from those awards? Or we don't need it?
Well, you know what? What does it mean, an award for people? What value do you give to it? That's the thing. It's always good as an artist to be known all around the globe because we become the ambassadors of our culture. And if we want our issue that we have to find solution and partnership for, musicians start that conversation by being the artist playing everywhere, on every stage, and showing the magnificence of our continent. So if Grammy is part of it, be it. That's all it is. Doesn't diminish the fact that you are a great artist from Nigeria, Togo, Ghana, wherever you come from. It doesn't define who you are. It's just a plus on your CV. Because the thing is, I never wanted people to pigeonhole me. And let us not pigeonhole ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's put our music there. Our music is not only made for African people, it made for every being on this planet. For them to sing on it, to dance on it, and to go, oh, this person come from such and such country. We do more for the recognition and the value of our country than any politician can do.
Okay. So let's hear from the legend herself. What is the process of music making like for you? Like when you want to create a song, what is it like? Do you just wake up, or you wake up and say, oh, I have this song, or do you take a long time to write your songs? How is the entire process like for you?
Songs are very complicated. Some song comes like this. Some is like, even giving birth is nothing next to it. It's just like crazy. The song is there giving you headaches after headaches, and you're sitting going, are you gonna get out of my system and leave me alone? And sometimes I just leave it. Those kind of songs, I just put them aside. I say, you know what? You ain't gonna give me headache. I'm gonna come back to you when my head is clear. And the thing with inspiration, I wish I know, we all know where it comes from. We don't know. As a classical composer said, Philip Glass said, inspiration is from the domain of the unknown. We don't know it. Because if we know it, it would have been destroyed. I mean, it's something that is there. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, something is in my head, I grab my phone, and I will just mumble this thing there. And then I wake up in the morning, sometimes I don't even listen to it, and then days come by, I'm like, oh, I just put something back there. And then suddenly, our brain and our soul and our heart thinks that our emotion works on a way that we cannot organize that. So when the song comes, and sometimes I'll be sitting here playing around with the drum machine. Sometimes I put in my finger and go dun, 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 and then something come and then we start putting, with my husband, we start putting the stuff in it, and then I start singing. Sometimes songs come to me in different language. That's why sometimes I invent my own words like Batonga or Wombo Lombo, because that's the inspiration that it comes with. when I was writing this new album, there was a song that came to me that I felt the urge to sing it in Portuguese. So I wrote it and put it in Google Translation, and I started singing it. And I called my friend that speaks Portuguese, and I said, "Is this right?" And then the person helped me put it in place. But that's the truth of it. When the inspiration comes, don't try to dilute it. Don't try to think too much about it. Just follow the flow. That's how I function.
Okay. Speaking of COVID-19, what are your thoughts on music streaming, especially because we Nigerian musicians have not had the opportunities to really go out there on stage to perform. So what are your thoughts on music streaming in Africa and globally as well?
I mean, the music streaming is what have allowed some kind of humanity through the arts to continue existing in this COVID-19.
Yeah.
And a lot of things has been done through streaming. I've done many things in support of many organizations, especially in France with the teenager, because this COVID-19, a lot of teenagers are in the mental institution because of depression. Because I mean, we are not made to live in the cave. We came out of the cave. I mean, we are not cavemen anymore. And this confinement, this lockdown have put a lot of pressure on people. And streaming is a good thing, but you don't make money with it. So that's the thing. That's the only thing.
Okay. If I was to ask, how's your daughter Naima? How does it feel to have raised such a fine young lady? How's she doing with the music process?
Oh man, Naima is doing great. She lives in LA.
Okay.
And she wants to be an actress. And she before the COVID, she was playing in a series called Chicago Med.
Okay.
And yeah, and then everything just stops. So pretty much she's still doing a lot of auditions, and she's really, I mean, she's a fiery African woman, and she writes also. I mean, she wrote an opera for me that we're gonna perform pretty soon. She's a great writer and writes songs also in just like, I'm like, okay, that's another thing. I mean, and then she gave it to me and I sing it, and I'm like, okay, I'm liking it. I mean, she's really this new generation of kids that we have that know technology. They are savvy. They have their own opinion. You can't stop them. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? They're all the same. And when they have African blood, they are unstoppable. They give me headaches, but I love those headaches. I mean, just crazy. You just can't stop. Blah, 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 blah. I say, okay, hold on. And then she goes, Mom, your brain is slowing down. I say, my brain is not slowing down. You're too fast for me. That's the difference. Don't tell me my brain is slowing down. You're too fast for me. I mean, she's doing good. And I can just wish that this COVID business stop and she can go back to theater and movie.
Okay, the last question now, because we're almost running out of time. You're 60, if I'm right. As somebody who has walked the global stage, are there things that you still say, oh, I still want to achieve this? Are there things you still want to achieve, rather?
Well, I mean, whoever stop dreaming and continue living? The day you stop dreaming of achieving stuff, you might also put yourself 6 feet under. There will always be challenges there. One thing that I know for sure that I learned from the old people in my country, you plan and God decide if your plan is going to come true.
Okay.
I don't own the future. I just do what I want to do, love to do, always in the truth of it, always being focused on the fact that what it is that is important to me, empower people through music, and lift my people up, period. And as long as I'm going to be breathing and living, I think I'm going to do that, I think, to the last breath that I have here, because I think that that's my call.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.